Hello and welcome to this chat about music and memory. My name is Saramai Leech and I'm a professional musician and a hospital musician. I'm delighted to be a guest contributor for Grandpal, working on a few pieces around arts and health. It's an honour to be joined this morning by guest expert Grainne. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to discuss arts and healthcare, and in particular music and memory. Grainne is a professional cellist and the founder of Kids Classics, and also an Atlantic Fellow of the Global Brain Health Institute at Trinity College Dublin, which I'm fascinated to hear more about. So could we start off maybe with a bit about yourself, Grainne, and where you're coming from?
Yeah, delighted to be here. I'm a professional cellist, as you mentioned, and that has brought me all around the world and back again, playing for musicians and communities everywhere, really. And the seed was sown in an early career as a postgraduate student, where I had the opportunity to play a concert in a hospital next door as part of a graduate program. And I remember it was something that really impacted me. And I remember, well, when I get back to Ireland, that was in America. And I said, when I go back to Ireland, there's something more I'd love to do with this. Didn't know what. Needless did I know that, 12, 13 years ago has led to what is now. The idea has grown into an organisation with multiple partners in Ireland, with local county council arts offices, the National Concert Hall, and we're in 14 settings all around. I suppose the name of the organisation is called Kids Classics, but it belies the length and breadth of the work that we do now. It started with children in hospital and bringing the fun and education element of music in, and now we play anywhere from children's schoolrooms in the hospitals through to intensive care units, nursing homes, palliative care, and little did I know that journey keeps going. And 2 years ago I was awarded a Wellcome Trust Clore Cultural Leadership Fellow, which I suppose that brought me to England to see what was going on there in the field of arts and health. Being a professional cellist, all my background to that date had been really about playing music. So It was great to see organisations working in the area, what they were doing to support artists and how they were partnering with settings. And then to this year, I was absolutely honoured and privileged to be awarded an Atlantic Fellowship at the Global Brain Health Institute, as you mentioned, in Trinity. It's a cross-site initiative between Trinity and University of California, San Francisco. Thanks to the Atlantic Philanthropies, it funds a number of fellows each year, leading experts in brain health. I think this year there's 19 countries represented in our group.
Wow.
This is the 5th year. There's 142 fellows around the world, and I suppose there's 3 things it does. It aims to share knowledge, sort of engage in advocacy, and I suppose collaborate and expand prevention and interventions all around the looming epidemic that is dementia and brain health and dementia care really worldwide. So that's where I am currently as I speak to you. I'm 3 months into that fellowship.
Well, we're blessed really to have you with us this morning, and no better person than to ask this question, which is really trying to connect what we see on social media around dementia and the arts. I mean, I'm even getting tingles now thinking about it. There's the 4 notes. I don't know if you saw that with the man with dementia playing piano, and then it developed into a piece and was played on the radio. And there's these beautiful things that are happening, and you see them going viral. And it's brilliant that that's in the conversation and people are talking about it. I also think it's so interesting that people like yourselves are in the more academic and scientific place, kind of connecting the dots. Well, part of your role, I know you're also on the cold front playing music as well. So really what I'd love to ask you about is, have you seen this in your own work, this connection with music and memory, and maybe could you give us a couple of examples of that?
Yeah, I mean, music, I suppose, is so connected with emotions, and emotions is a memory. And I suppose what I'm learning while at the Institute, really, so many parts of our brain holds music, different things associated with music. I think that's what has the power with connecting memory to music, because it's also connected to emotion. It's perhaps connected to a visual experience. So when music comes into this equation, no matter what part of the brain that might be affected through atrophy or shrinkage with dementia or Alzheimer's, because music is held in so many different ways, that's often the connection that it proves to be one of the lasting sort of engagements that will have impact when somebody shares music with somebody. And you could just play, I've often just played two notes of a song, and somebody in a room, it's obviously connected with them through a memory or through an experience or through audio. It's amazing to see. You can actually see somebody light up, and just take it away. I mean, you could play the first couple of notes of in Dublin's Fair City, and before you ever get to the end, what I would call a phrase, somebody's in on the song and singing it away. You know, you could get to perhaps near the end of a song. I remember a while back in a nursing home, coming up to Christmas, and we had a singer in, and Oh Holy Night. And there's a really high part in that, and this just before the soprano sang that note, somebody in the room just erupted in applause. And we were all so moved. I think she nearly missed the note. She didn't, she got it, but she was so touched because it took to that point for somebody, connected with somebody. They recognized what was going to happen. They recognized the song. Yeah. So it can be quite moving and emotional for an artist to be in that. You're in that with somebody. I suppose the difference in this work, what we do with music, right beside somebody, there's no longer a separation of a stage and the audience is in a black. You are engaging in a relationship with somebody with that music, and they bring you as a musician on their journey with them. So yeah. It's absolute privilege.
Wow, fascinating answer. And we could talk all day about it. I could ask you so many things. I wonder, and this probably leads on from what you just mentioned, what would you say is your biggest insight from all your work in this area, from going from, you know, being a professional cellist, and as you say, in your black, separate, you know, on the stage performing as, you know, most people do as professional artists, and then moving into this space where you're playing for people in hospitals of all ages, you know, from children right up to people with dementia, nursing homes. What would you say is your biggest insight? Is that an impossible question?
No, it's not. I say there's a number of insights. I suppose the power of music to do something that I haven't found anything else does. It really breaks down barriers. It really connects people. You start conversations with, and you never know where they go. I've learned some fascinating stories about life and people's lives. It's like a window. You join somebody in their memories. So I mean, we often talk about with dementia, you know, the long-term memory perhaps is there deep down, but memory of everyday things, you know, it's just they're not able to retain it. So when something is brought up with somebody, you get to travel back with their memory and live it with them in the present. So it's like I suppose the value of somebody's life to me, wherever they should be, whether that's in a hospital or a nursing home or a community, is so valuable. They still have a story to tell. They're still living. And I suppose for me, it enhances that journey and that life for a person wherever they are. I suppose it also, if you think of the staff in that workplace, it gives them something too as well. It can be a very stressful workplace, and even as a carer. So everybody joins in that musical sharing, in that story that goes with that, and in making new memories. Yeah. So that's a new conversation, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of routines in certain settings like nursing homes, and you know, they're there for a reason, but it's a new conversation piece, and I suppose more than anything, it's the quality of life for somebody. It shouldn't just be, you know, routine, sitting in a chair, meals at this time. Not every, you know, I suppose everyone's life to me is as valuable from the day they came into the world as to the day they leave the world. And I know I've said it, but it is a privilege to join somebody on that. It's like the door's open to their life and they're sharing it with you. And yeah, it's an absolute privilege.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Thank you. And to see music as such a tool to bring joy and to discover a personality and a person. And as you say, you know, maybe somebody's memory's gone, but they're still alive and they're still here and they're still there. And music as a way to unlock that. So inspiring. Thank you. So maybe we could end up our chat with a couple of practical tips for people, like you mentioned caregivers and staff, and also family members who might be, you know, just caring for someone in their everyday life, is there something simple that they can do, maybe around music and arts?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends where you are and your possibilities. The biggest thing I would say about any of this is to stay connected with communities. It's very hard currently during these COVID times, but that's not to say it's not impossible. And sometimes if you reach out a hand to somebody, they'll help you connect, say virtually. If you're not sure how to get online, I know there's a lot of initiatives, and coffee mornings with Alzheimer's Ireland and the National Concert Hall have tea dance tunes. They've moved their offer online to try and stay connected with caregivers and those living with dementia specifically. And so the other thing you can do, if broadband's not necessarily the best all around the world, but simple things like is if the person that's with you, you find out what music they were interested to, what really connected with them. And I suppose there's this thing called playlists, and it's an initiative. And I suppose the value of it is that when conversation can be limited, or speech may be going, or there's very little to how do I engage with somebody, by putting music on and a list of their tunes, and listening with them sparks a new conversation, sparks a new something to talk about that day, something different. And perhaps with that memories that come up that the person, they perhaps share together, or that they didn't know around this person. So it's so valuable to, I suppose, to live in the present with this person, even if it feels like perhaps you may be losing a little bit of them every day, to know that the person is still there with you. It's just you have to find that connection deep down. So that's the magic of the playlists.
Brilliant advice. So to sit with somebody, work out maybe what songs might mean something to them, put them together in a list, and then make a practice of sitting together and listening together to this.
Once a week, once a day, it can be part of a routine. And just when we're all currently in lockdown, and weather's bad, winter weather, I think it would be a lovely addition. Different music every day, whatever it might be, but certainly it can help. And hopefully get back to some sort of normality. I would say, if you can, where possible, get out into your community, connect locally with other caregivers. There's groups all around, and stay connected in your community, because they will support you and each other.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Grainne, for your wonderful insight and advice, and hope to have you on again. Thank you so much.